Hello, I'm live. It's been quite a while since I have been on this channel. I just dropped a short earlier today, but I decided that it's definitely time for me to come back on and share some wisdom with you guys again. Those of you who don't know me, I've been in the coaching space for about 30 years now, been online since about 2003, and over the last few, I guess, 3 decades, I've grown a very successful coaching business, and it's scaled and sustained success for a very long time. And I teach other coaches how to do the same thing. And today's topic I want to talk about is when you have been trying everything, you've been throwing everything at it, trying to get your coaching business to grow, and nothing seems to be working. Maybe it's to do with the strategy that you're enacting. And so we need to troubleshoot that strategy. So if things aren't working, we need to figure out why they're not working. A lot of coaches will make the failure of things, whether it's a launch or whether it's a campaign that they've been running, and they will take it to mean that they are not going to be successful, or they take it to mean that nobody wants to buy their stuff, or they're not good enough, or they're not experienced enough, or somebody else is doing it better than them. And I want to just remind you that it's none of those things. It's just that you haven't figured out the strategy yet. If you are a good coach, and I know you are doing your absolute best to be a good coach, because that's what coaches do, especially in those early days, I know that you want success. And I know that you can see what that looks like for you. And if you're a good coach, you deserve to be successful, right? So let's talk about why things aren't working. Obviously, there are a million reasons, and I can't give you everything right now, but I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you basically the first thing that I would do when a coach comes to me and they need some help growing their business. This is the first thing that I look at. And then I'm going to talk about, so the first thing that I look at, and then I'm going to talk about how to make sense of the feedback that you've been getting. Okay, so the first thing that you want to really know for sure is that your product is rock solid, that the product that you're selling is compelling. It's something that people want. And how do we know that? We know that it's something people want if there's a problem out there in the marketplace and you have an offer that solves that problem. It's got to be a compelling problem. It's something that people in your niche are struggling with. And if they're struggling with it and you know how to solve it, then there's a really good chance that you have a great product. You want to make sure, though, that the outcome is very clearly articulated. So what is somebody going to get from working with you? And what I'm not talking about here is things like 1 hour a week of coaching and Voxer support in between. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when somebody invests money and time with you, at the end of your time together, what's the outcome? Like, what is your big promise? So figure out what problem you're solving, and then get good at working out how to articulate that in your sales copy so people know the result of working with you. The clearer you can make that, the easier it is for people to say yes or no, right? If it's not a problem that they need help with, then they're going to move on, and that's fine because you don't need those people anyway. You want to work with the people who you can help. So the first thing is I'm always going to go over your offer with a fine-tooth comb. I want to make sure that it's compelling, that there's a very clear deliverable, and we're really focused on letting people know what they're going to gain from their time with you. All right. So super, super important. Now, if you've been in this a little while and you've got this offer and you've been trying to sell it and it's not working, you're going to go back and you're going to check your offer. If you feel like you've nailed the offer and the offer's right, it says all the right things, you feel like the price point is where it needs to be and all those sorts of things, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to have a look at the feedback that you've been getting. And so by feedback, I don't mean people are telling you, oh, your program sucks, or I think it's amazing. What I want you to look at is what's the theme of what's been going on? And so are you just being ignored? Is it that you've got this product and you're talking about it and you're out there doing what you know you're supposed to do, which is show up online and start to be of value to people, but you're just being ignored? All right. So that's one thing. So the feedback is, well, I'm invisible. I can't get people to listen to what I've got to say. So then the strategy around your visibility is not working, right? So you need to go back and think, well, how can I get their attention? And look at all of the things that you've tried so far and just say, well, these are the things that I've been doing consistently and they're not working. So I'm going to try something completely different. And the thought that just came to my mind then as well is consistency. So maybe you're being ignored, but you've only been doing this for 5 minutes. You've only been going out there and talking about what you do and the problem you're solving. You're only talking about it very inconsistently. And we know how busy social media is. We know how busy all of the platforms are. We know that people are exposed to a lot of content every day, right? And so they will maybe need to see your stuff many, 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 many times before they start to go, oh, there she is again. I wonder what she's talking about. So consistency is really important. So sometimes it's not about the offer, sometimes it's not about the message, but sometimes it's about you being consistent. And if you feel like you've got the offer, but you're being ignored, then you've got to figure out why that is. All right. And most of the time, we're being boring on the internet. We're boring the shit out of people. And we're telling them all the things that we think they want to hear instead of coming from our place of power, coming from what is true for us, coming from sharing our personality and our thoughts and our opinions and all of those sorts of things. So you've got to go and do that. So visibility might be the issue. So maybe the feedback is that you've got people listening and people are booking discovery calls with you, but maybe they're telling you that they can't afford you, or they're not showing up, or they're just the wrong fit. So, what does that tell you? What do you think that that's going to tell you? If you are getting discovery calls booked, but you're getting all no's, what's that telling you? So it means that we need to look at your discovery call strategy, right? We need to have a look at what's happening on those calls. Where do we need to change this? And again, we would go over this with a fine tooth comb to figure out what's going on. And maybe it's the way you're running your discovery calls. Maybe that sucks. And if you're getting all of the wrong people, it could mean that you're messaging in the wrong places and the message is a little bit off and it's going to the wrong people. It could also be that you are, saying the wrong thing, right? So I'm trying to think. There was something else I wanted to say. So maybe, that's it. And another thing, when it comes to working with discovery calls and you're getting a lot of people that aren't a good fit or they can't afford you, it means that your screening process isn't great. So you need to go back and have a look at your pre-screening questions so that you can be sure that when you get on a call with somebody, that it's really just a formality, right? And so how do we screen them? There are many different ways, and it's going to depend on the type of coaching and the type of clients that you want to take on board. But two really key questions that you need to have in your pre-screening questions, and I'll talk more about pre-screening in a minute, is are you in a position to afford coaching right now? And if we are a good fit, are you ready to get started right away? They're two really important questions, right? Because if somebody answers, no, I don't have any money, or I'm just interviewing coaches now, I'm going to be ready in about 6 months' time. Do you want to run a coaching call, a discovery call with those people? In my world, that would be a no. So I would go back to those people and just let them know, hey, I'm going to cancel our session. I only do sessions with clients or with potential clients who are ready to start right away and they've got the money to start right away. And obviously that's not you. Or I usually would check in with them first before I cancel it, just to clarify, because sometimes people get a bit weird about filling out forms. So I'm going to check in with them first and then cancel it if they're not a good fit. Now, when I'm talking about pre-screening, what I'm saying there is somebody comes along and they want to book a session with you. You can't book a session with me unless you answer about 7 or 8 questions, including those 2 questions. And so I can get a really good feel for whether this is going to be a good client for me or not. and I can make a decision there and then. And because the discovery call's booked, it doesn't mean I need to do it. I can go and cancel it if I don't feel like we're a really good fit. Okay, so there are many, many more things that we could talk about, but I just wanted to drop a couple of things on you today. And that is, if you're trying really hard and you're trying to get this thing happening and it's just not working for you, first check out your product. Make sure your product is 100% like on point in every way. And if you're happy with your product, then the next thing you want to do is have a look at the feedback. And if you're being ignored, it means your messaging is not compelling enough. So you've got to find a way to cut through the noise on all of the platforms, and also be consistent, right? So if you've just started and you're not getting the feedback that you want, keep going. Keep going. Every single day, get out there and do your thing. And then maybe the feedback is that you're getting people doing discovery calls, you're not being ignored, but nobody's saying yes. So then we've got to figure that out. I think I'm going to leave it there today. I've got so much more to share with you, and I will continue to share it with you. But right now, I'm going to leave it there. I will be back very, very soon live. If you love this video, please like it and share it. And also, I would love to hear in the comments any thoughts you've got about the content that I shared today. That's it. I will see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.